Whew, man. Welcome back, everybody. I know I was a little delayed in getting this video up, and the biggest reason, as you could probably hear, is because I was waiting on that microphone right there. It is an attachment. I needed a different cable, had to wait for a little bit, and as you could hear, the audio from the last one was really bad. I'm still working on getting some of these 2-inch foams everywhere in this room because the reverb is pretty bad, which is another reason I got this microphone. Seems to be doing really well. Let me know how you like it. Let me know if there's maybe some tweaks that you guys can recommend. I'm all ears and for suggestions and anything. But let's just get right to it. No further delay. I did the original video on the 4000D, which I'll link below. It's easily one of my favorite cases I've ever worked in, and the quality is absolutely phenomenal. It's one of the best cases I have personally had a chance to build in. Now, I've built in some more expensive cases that were nicer. They're almost double the price, and in some cases, 3 times the price. This case has really done well. So we're going to jump right into the actual in-depth review this time. And we're going to start by talking about the front panel, which is obviously the centerpiece in my opinion, other than the glass. The issue that most cases for a really long time have had is that they completely negated any airflow and it all became about tempered glass, tempered glass, tempered glass. They stepped away from that. This mesh is great. It has plenty of ventilation. There's plenty of holes in it. It really feels good. It's absolutely made of metal. It feels really good. It's solid. As you see here, there's plenty of airflow on the sides and the front. Removing it is very easy. You do just have to put a little force behind it. As you can see, you actually have to put a little force behind it. You can leave it hanging out. It doesn't feel like it's going to break the clips. Everything about removing it feels great. Everything in this case is entirely easy access. When you open it up, as you see here, the front mesh that you see is really good. Love it. It's a fine mesh. A little accent piece down at the bottom for 4000D is amazing. I just love these little details. I love the simplicity of it. And I like how really minimalistic they went with this case. Definitely a great style choice on their part. There is one problem I have with the front mesh. It definitely gets pulled into my fans. I had to remove it a couple times when I was running some long-term benchmarks to see about thermals. The front panel has great compatibility. I like the adjustable fan slots. I think this is just something that should be standard on every case at this point. Being able to adjust them and slide them up and down just gives you a little bit more room to work with. The front does feature the ability to support 240, 280, and 360mm fans. So you have 2 140mm fan slots for your radiator. You also have 3 120mm fan slots, also for a radiator. I feel like there's plenty of space behind it. I heard some people complain about there not really being enough space to put a radiator in the front mount. I disagree entirely. I tried my 360 rad that I have on hand here, and it fit fine, even with fans on it. I did not have any clearance issues whatsoever. That little slot that you see down there just really gives you enough space. If you're trying to do push-pull, I can understand why you might run into some problems here. But frankly, if you're using static pressure fans that are built and designed properly, you shouldn't run into this issue. You shouldn't really be trying to set up a push-pull basically at all in the modern era. The era of push-pull radiators is almost gone. Oh yeah, one last thing too. The dust filter is magnetic. It's super easy to put on, super easy to take off. Just like the front panel, Corsair has really done very well with ease of use on this case. Adjusting it for just about anything is one of the easiest things about this case. There is so much versatility here. It's a real understatement to say, in terms of versatility, this is one of the best cases. Now, moving on to the top I/O, this is probably one of the few complaints that I have about this case. There's really only one USB 3.0 and one C-type, which is great, but there are some people like me that still have slightly dated motherboards that don't have a C-type pass-through. So that C-type to me is literally useless. I cannot use it at all whatsoever. I'd have to get an adapter for it, in which case you're negating the C-type speeds anyways. So people like me aren't going to find that much usage. It's not really a big problem. I do just wish there was another USB 3.0 port at the top. I'd even take a USB 2.0, but frankly, there's really no need. But just another one would be great. Power button's really solid, good quality, no complaints there. As you can see here, the USB 3.0 is also accented in their little yellow. This is one of the only accent pieces on the entirety of the case, are these little tiny hints of yellow here and there. As you see there, the little tab for the dust filter at the top is also accented with a yellow Corsair. Now, I really love these filters. I think the top filter is great, and yes, I do leave it on, but I will say an exhaust dust filter is completely useless. There is no need for a top dust filter in any way. But at the same time, the quality of it's pretty incredible, so you can't really complain too much. It's awesome. It's super easy to use, super easy to clean, take off. It also just looks really, really good. And that's something that I keep talking about, is just how good the case looks and feels. At the top here, you have support for 240 or 280 millimeter, which means two 120 millimeter fans or two 140 millimeter fans. You also have radiator support, as you can tell that as what I'm using it for is the CPU radiator. There is plenty of clearance here. The adjustment is crucial. The fact that they put this on here is awesome. Again, adjustments for fans should be standard across all cases in the modern era. I found that I didn't have any problem with clearance. My RAM isn't the tallest around, so in terms of height clearance, I didn't have any issues whatsoever. I was able to route my cables through the top, hide them away, even after I installed the radiator, because I made the crucial mistake of forgetting the CPU pin before I actually put the radiator in. But thankfully, there's plenty of space here, and because of the adjustments, all I had to do was loosen the bolts, slide it over, put the pins in, and we were good to go. Really good job here, Corsair. Good to see. No complaints here. Now moving on to the glass. The glass panel is easily one of the best pieces, if not the best piece of the entire case. There's something about the quality of this glass that is just unbelievable. As you see here, it's pretty thick, it's solid. There's a small area of the bezel that is basically covered. It's honestly very useful for me. It gives you somewhere to grip without leaving too many fingerprints or smudges, which thankfully, this glass isn't too prone to leaving oil or fingerprints. This is another huge credit to Corsair. The quality of this glass is unreal. Let me stop you all right there. Tempered glass has been around for a while, and a lot of companies have done a great job of it. Without question, Corsair has perfected it. With whatever material this is that's made of, this is the way I want all my tempered glass cases. I don't care how heavy it is, and it is kind of heavy. The only complaint I have about the tempered glass is that it is a little awkward to get off. It's so secure and so solid that it just feels awkward to pull it. It doesn't really rotate it or swing out, and it doesn't really slide off. Putting it back in is much easier, but pulling it out is a little difficult. The little screws that you see on the side there, I'm glad that they did this. They're the anti-fall, they sit there, they just automatically hang there. You can pull them all the way out. Again, we see a yellow accent here. Awesome little touch. It doesn't seem to pull off smoothly. I don't know if that's just because it fits perfectly, and let me make sure that's clear. It fits perfectly. So if there's anything in the way, you're going to know pretty quickly. I was able to route my LED strips from Corsair in between everything there really well. There's plenty of space. I feel like everything inside in the sense of how everything was measured and the space left for certain components is near flawless. So if you have lighting strips, you can fit them right down inside, right on the inside of the glass, and it looks great. The back side of the case is pretty generic. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're going to fly right through this. Again, your adjustable 120 and 140 millimeter fan mounts in the back, which is where I have my current GPU radiator. It does really well here. This is clean, simple. You have the vertical GPU mount. The quality of the actual PCI slot covers is really good. I like to see this mesh consistency where they have these cutouts being consistent shape, consistent patterns. Love it. Good choice from Corsair. The quality and feel of these is great. It's super easy to get on and off. The screws are good. Everything about it, good to go. Absolutely no complaints on the backside there. Yes, I know. I'm missing a power supply screw. Don't hate me for it. One of the key features I really wanted to point out before I even go any further is the adjustable solid state drive slots. Now I'll show you on the back when we get to the back side of it. But on the inside, If you wanted to remove those solid states from the back side of the case, which I did, again, I'll show you in the back on why I removed those, but you can slot them right here above the power supply. I love this. Not only can this double as a bracket to hold a vertical GPU, which is what it is used for, but you can also use the other one, the right of the two solid state drives, to still hold a solid state drive, even with the vertical GPU bracket installed. This is brilliant. I just really love the adjustability of these things. Plus, it's just sitting there. The power supply shroud should be taking airflow from the bottom of the case and exhausting it out the back of the case. There is very little reason to have major airflow flowing through there. It's not really a big deal. You have plenty of airflow in the front. So being able to use this spot for solid state drives is really awesome. Another good job there from Corsair. The other thing I really want to talk about inside the case is the wire bar here. That bar is usually a big problem for me for cases. I usually prefer grommets, and I have to admit, most of the time when I see these bars, I get immediately deterred from buying the case. On top of the really limited accents that you see here, I believe this is a great touch of both color and branding, which is very limited on this case. I love it. I think it's really stylish. That bar has plenty of space. As you see here, I was able to route a non-individually sleeved cable, or a couple of them really. Another great job here by Corsair. Plenty of space there. I feel like it's in a good position. I didn't feel like I really had to bend my cables to make it fit. I felt like everything just kind of fed through. No problems there. Moving into the back side of the case, this is where things start to get really interesting. As you see here, the reason I don't have the solid state drives installed on the back side, I moved it because I needed the room for the Corsair Commander Pro and Lighting Node Pro. It's a really good thing that you can adjust those spots because I really needed them on the backside. Corsair did an amazing job in the wiring. And yes, I know the wiring in this case is definitely far from perfect. I did what I could with the length of the cables I had. These little Velcro ties, of which you do get extras. You get 3 extras inside the box, which I'm not going to go through here. You have plenty of room for it. There's plenty of places to stash wires. The adjustable hard drive cage is absolutely crucial. Placement of this is very, very useful because my power supply is huge. At 1300 watts, it's a big one. But as you see here, I have no problems with cables. I had easy time routing all the cables, putting them where they need to be, and even with a Commander Pro and the Lighting Node Pro and a whole bunch of fans with LEDs and on them, I had no problems at all routing these cables. Another amazing job from Corsair. The depth that you get in the backside of the case is shocking. I really didn't think I was going to have enough room, but when I put that back panel on, it didn't bow or take any effort at all. And that's another really awesome point for Corsair. The back panel is solid. It's not too heavy. It just has that quality feel. And I didn't feel like I had to smush everything down. I just slotted it in, closed it, screwed it in, and it was done. Another great job from Corsair. The way to take the back panel off is the same as the front panel, but it's easier. I don't know if it's just because I'm worried about breaking that glass or not. But the back panel, although it's the same mechanism, I find to be a little bit easier. And some of that, I believe, is just because of the weight and the fact that it's glass. So you're automatically a little more timid taking that on and off. Been using this case for a good bit now, a little over a month. If you're looking for a good quality case, this is the case. I'll leave a link down below. I know there's a lot of supply issues. When I got the case, it was $80, $79.99. I got it for basically $80, free shipping. Right now, the case is selling for about $100 as of December 19th, 2020. It's selling about $100 to $150. We know supply is a major issue this year. I hope everyone is doing great. We're nearing the holidays. So for everybody, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. I hope you're all having a great time. We're gonna have a couple more reviews, including this little microphone right here, and discussing the differences between using and not using a microphone. Hope you all had a great one. As always, stay calm, conquer all.